The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 49. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Visit our blog at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan. And today's guest, I have a special friend that, I truly love. She's just awesome. I mean, she is a mommypreneur. Sometimes I don't know how she does it. I mean, she has kids. She has, a thriving business. She has her husband. She has a dog and a cat. But I don't know where she finds time to do all of this. So, it's just amazing what she can do. And, she's just an amazing woman. I've met her a couple times. We've seen each other at events, and I just had to have her on the show because maybe her story can resonate with you. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Cheryl Sameit. Cheryl, how are you doing today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sheena, for having me on today. This is just like a highlight of my week, honestly, because I truly, truly just feel honored to be on your podcast. Your podcast has inspired me to just continue growing in my own self-confidence. So I can't wait to share with everyone today here on your podcast, The Tao of Self-Confidence. But I am your marketing supermom. As you said, I'm a wife. I'm a mom to 2 young kids. I have 2 dogs and a cat. I also have a 15-plus year career in engineering leadership for a large corporation here in the U.S. And my passion is building my business. And my business name is Start From Now Marketing because I believe we can all start from where we're at. We can all start from now and move forward. And the whole purpose of my business is to support supermoms and mompreneurs like myself in accelerating their business income from home, because a successful mom is a happy mom, and happy moms equal happy families.
I love that. And I love your name, Start From No Marketing, because we all start from the bottom. I mean, I had no clue how to do anything on the internet, right? I mean, we just have to start. Just start, and the how will come to you, right? It might just appear right in front of your face and you don't even know it, but just start, right? The first step is to start. So I really appreciate that, Cheryl. And what is your cultural background?
So I grew up in South Alabama in a small town of about 10,000 people, and I think it's actually less than 10,000 people now. But my dad's family is from Germany originally, and my mom's family is from England.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
So my favorite self-confidence quote is actually from one of the leaders inside of our Superwomen community, and it goes, "It's possible in the world. It's possible for me. It's just a question of how."
I love that quote. And it's one of my favorite quotes too, because some people don't realize that all these people who are successful, you look at them on TV or you see them on the internet or you see them in the magazines of a cover, they all started from the bottom, right? They all just worked their way up to the top. So, if it's possible for them, it's definitely possible for you, right? They're not
Absolutely.
They're not any more talented or smarter. They just took action on their dreams. They just decided to go out there and get what they want and do whatever it takes to get there. So, thanks for sharing that, Cheryl. In your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
Well, to me, self-confidence is about trusting myself. It's about trusting my knowledge, trusting my skills, and trusting my experiences that I've had throughout my life. It's about trusting that little voice in my head that speaks when I have a question or any doubts inside of a situation. And what I think is really cool is I think our inner voice is aligned to our true mission and purpose. And when we consciously discover our purpose and focus on it, it becomes very easy to hear that inner voice. And but you know what, Sheena, being able to trust my inner voice has been kind of a long journey. But I feel more confident in, how people say trusting my gut more now than ever before in my life. And I want other people, especially my kids, to grow up trusting their gut and listening to their inner voice. So I focus on leading by example in that regard. And, I'd really like to give a shout out to my grandmother, Dot, who is a great example of having self-confidence herself. She recently passed away, and so she's been on my mind a lot. But I'll always remember her attitude of be true to yourself. She wore unique clothes and jewelry. She was an entrepreneur with her own dress shop and sewing business back in the day. And she was really a friend to anyone and everyone, whether they agreed with her viewpoint or not. So she's someone that truly modeled self-confidence for me.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that, Cheryl. And, your grandmother sounds like an amazing woman. I mean, I'm sure she's proud of the things that you're doing right now, for sure. And, it's funny you say, trusting yourself, because I think as women, it's really challenging for us to trust ourselves sometimes because we've been told so many times what to do, what to wear, how to stand, how to sit, how to go to the bathroom. It's like, because so many people make decisions for us, we forget to make our own decisions and be like, well, is this something that's right for me? And, I'm still in that journey, I mean,
we all are.
it's a never-ending journey, but I'm learning to trust myself more, and trust that I'm capable to do anything that I want. And I want the listeners to be able to do the same, Don't be afraid to trust your own gut, because, I mean, no one knows you better than you. Right? So, when you have that feeling that something is right, go out and get it, right? Go out and do it, right? Your heart's telling you something. So thanks for sharing that, Cheryl. And, Cheryl, what was your life like before the discovery of self-confidence?
Well, I grew up worrying a lot about what other people thought of me, I'll be honest. and like you said, just now, that's a part of a journey. And it's one of those things that we as women just have to continue to focused on overcoming. Probably a lot of your listeners had a traditional, quote, quote, traditional upbringing of go to school, get good grades, get a job, get married, have kids, work, retire, and die, kind of like I did. So having that sort of, I guess, if you want to call it pre-planned path in life, or and again, we can choose whether we want to subscribe to that or not, right? But I remember just being, focused on, okay, this is what I have to do because this is the experience I've had and this is what I've been able to model in my life from my parents and the older people in my family. But I remember comparing myself a lot to the other girls in school. I always thought they were prettier than me, more popular than me. They spoke up more than I did. They were more eloquent than me. So basically I thought they were better than me. And, I know better now. I know better now than to think that way. But I do remember before really, really focusing or really, really figuring out that I had a lot of self-confidence was I did have confidence in my skills as a student and in my skills as an employee in my job. I could figure out how to do most anything, but I didn't consider myself special because the things I enjoyed doing, like, band, I did marching band since I was like 10 years old. I love to paint and do art. And I actually liked helping my parents around the house, doing some different like car maintenance things and home maintenance things, learning about those life skills that you need as a grown up, I guess, at some point. Those weren't really what the popular crowd was doing. I kind of looked at those other girls and we're like, well, maybe I'm not as good as they are. Maybe they are truly better than me just because, but again, it was because those were the things that everybody thought were, popular things to do.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I think as women too, we have this, we're guilty of always comparing ourselves to other women, especially when the media, has these covers of the perfect woman and nobody realizes that woman has been altered to the point where it's like it's not even that person anymore. So, as women, we have to realize we're in our own journey. We have to accept ourselves for who we are and just be happy with what we have because, sometimes that beauty or that perfection you see on TV or in the magazines, it's a false perception of beauty and it's a false perception of what a woman should look like. So thanks for sharing that. And what was your realization when you knew that, you were capable of something more? You don't have to compare yourself to anybody. What was that aha moment?
So I've had a few aha moments where I was reminded, hey, you really needed to have gone with your gut, Cheryl. And there's always been times, or situations where an outcome wasn't what I intended to happen. And, in those type of situations, you say, oh man, I should have done it this way instead. But I remember a couple of very distinct situations that are really, really kind of burned into my memory. And I wanted to share those with you and your listeners today. One was actually when I taught at an art studio. I had my lesson outlined. I was ready to teach the steps and constructing the painting for the students in the class as I saw them. But I ran those ideas by the head instructor and she made some suggestions. But as she was making her suggestions, my gut was like, no, this really doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem like what I need to do to make the customers happy and have them enjoy creating a painting that night. But I did what she suggested anyway. And as I forecasted, the customers really weren't happy with their results. So that was a time when I was like, gosh, I really should have listened to my gut. And I felt, I guess having that sense of almost, well, really public embarrassment and public, hey, I've got to make up a solution, that really stuck in my head. And another example I had was when I was training a big team at our office on our contractual services business. I was asking a colleague to review the material just to, hey, double check this. And he made some suggestions to remove a few slides. And again, my gut was like, no, you really don't want to remove these, but I did it anyway. And I think that really was lack of self-confidence at the time. And what happened, just like with the painting class, during the actual training, an audience member asked a question about some of the material that I had taken out per that other guy's suggestion. And I was like, oh, crap, crap. But I luckily I was able to recover. I kept the slides, but I really felt really uncomfortable for a few minutes, and I just really kicked myself for not listening to my inner voice. So I believe that I went through those times and that they're burned in my memory, like I said, to reinforce that I need to trust myself. Those examples really stick out to remind me to trust myself, because I now recognize that I have the knowledge, I have the skills, I have this experience, and I have the presence of mind to do anything I put my mind to. Just like my favorite quote said, which I actually say that multiple times per day, possible in the world is possible for me. It's just a question of how. And when a how is presented to me, it's easy for me to make a decision on pursuing it because I listen to my inner voice. I trust myself. I trust my gut because I'm so focused on my purpose and what I want to do now.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And not too many people realize that, we have all the answers inside us, and it's really just learning how to ask the right questions. So kind of like you ask, how is it possible for me? So, then the universe or God or whoever you believe in start giving you clues as to how, right? Maybe they might show you to the right person. You might show up at an event. Maybe there's something on the internet you find. But when you start asking the right questions, that's when the right things start to appear. So I really love that you mentioned that, and that, you always go back to that quote that you have, and it's just a matter of how. So what's your life like now, Cheryl, after that discovery that, you can trust your own gut and do amazing things?
Yes. So now that I do listen to my inner voice, I'm much more attentive to it. I go with my gut, more often, really all the time now. I go with my gut. I mean, that's just how it is in my life now. When I do that, I just feel so much more, in the flow of the activities I'm doing with my family and with my business. When I have a decision to make, I make it quickly using my inner voice and my experience as my guides. I don't feel the need to consult a ton of friends or family. I mean, I'm sure we all know people, or we've probably done it ourselves. I know I've done it in the past, where it's like, oh, I really, really wonder what this person thinks, and I wonder what more people are doing about this. And I basically survey or poll your friends and family to make a decision that really I can make myself. I just make a decision now. I'm a ready, fire, aim type of gal now. And I feel confident operating in that ready, fire, aim sort of manner because I do listen to my gut.
Thank you. And I like how you say you go for that ready, fire, aim, because so many people out there are always doing ready, aim, fire, but they keep on aiming and aiming and aiming and never fire anything, right? I mean, for me, this podcast too, I was aiming for the longest time. I was so scared what people might think of me, or if people are going to listen, or if I'm going to make it in the new and noteworthy on iTunes. And it was to the point where I almost had an anxiety attack, and someone had, a mentor of mine had to sit me down and say, listen, if it sucks, it sucks. If it doesn't, you still have to put it out there. So stop fretting, right? And sometimes we just got to, ready, fire, aim. Just put it out there and then course correct along the way. So I really love that you mentioned that. And, Cheryl, to the listener out there who's listening to your story, she loves what you had to say. She's probably in the same boat as you are, and she's probably in her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
So I would tell her, stop comparing yourself to others and start realizing you are a better woman, you're a better mom, you're a better mompreneur today than you were yesterday. And if you're worried about what other people think of you, know that they really don't think of you as often as you think they do. They're wrapped up in their own life. So get wrapped up in living yours how you design it and how you want to live it. When you're faced with the decisions, become quiet and listen to your inner voice. It'll be quiet. At first, it'll be really quiet. It'll be hard to hear, potentially. But as you exercise that muscle of listening to your inner voice, you'll hear it and you'll feel it louder over time. Just like anything, it takes practice to listen to your inner voice. So just start practicing now. Start from now.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that awesome tip. And it's true. We have to stop comparing ourselves to other people. We are on our own journey for a reason, right? Things are supposed to happen the way they are. And, sometimes you just got to go out there and just get it done. And Cheryl, if the listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more of your marketing services, your social media services, is there a website we can go to or any social media profiles?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, I'm always on Facebook, and that's at www.facebook.com/Cheryl.Sameit, Cheryl.Sameit. And you can also connect with me on Periscope at, the @ symbol Cheryl Sameit. I'm having an awesome time broadcasting daily there with sharing some fun marketing tips and sharing how supermoms can stop feeling frustrated and start getting results they desire.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. So to the listeners out there, just head on over to the tab Self-Confidence and search for Cheryl's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I want to thank Cheryl for taking the time to share her journey with us, share her story. So Cheryl, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Sheena.
Awesome. So listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll catch you later. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us on the Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit thetaoofselfconfidence.com for links to everything we chatted about today, as well as killer resources, gifts, and so much more. Start your inner journey to self-confidence today.